Good morning and happy Monday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For anybody that might be new here, what we typically do is go over crypto news in the space. I update myself, bring you guys along for the ride. Let's see who's here in the chat, and then we'll get into this. Mr. Steven Cicero, as always. Andrew Masad, my man, all set. Good to see you. We have Peepaw Bill. What's up, dude? Good to see you, man. Let's see. Tim, I am Crypto. Backwards Miner, good morning, sir. We have Crypto McKell in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Backwards Miner. Let's see. Crypto Craig, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Good morning. Green Hash. Everybody else I may have missed. Alien Black, Kyle Rosa, you guys are awesome. Let's get into this. All right. Bitcoin looking like 69,506 bucks. Looking pretty good, to be honest, even though it's 0.15% down. Everything looks a little pinkish, right? Not too deep red, but BNB is pretty red, actually. But overall, everything's kind of hanging on, just kind of floating sideways. Ethereum took a little bit of a pullback, 36.78. It was closer to 4,000, but hey, we could get there sooner than later. We'll see. Solana, 160 bucks, just about 159.37. Now we get LTC pulling back a little bit, just under 80 bucks, $79. We have XRP at 49 cents, 88 at 44 cents. ETC's actually been taking a little bit of a pullback. It's at 26.90 right now, just under $27. Caspa is still holding pretty strong, over 16 cents, which is pretty good. Quant, is that what this is? UNT? Yeah, Quant is up on the day. Oh god, now I gotta reset this. Hold on. Let's see, how much are we up? 6% on the day to $90. Not too bad. Not too bad. Does anybody hold Quant? Let me know in the chat. Dogecoin, 14.5 cents. Dogecoin's kind of just floating sideways too. Honestly, I think the market is just super undecided right now, but we did hit over 75 on the Fear and Greed Index the other day. So told you, I get worried when things go over 75 for certain reasons, and it would be because of pullbacks. All right, what is this? What is OM? OM looks like the biggest earner on the day over here on Crypto Bubbles, 14.8% up. Weird, ranked 99. So just, oh, it's Mantra. Weird. I've heard of that, but I've never, I don't think I've ever seen that logo or OM. Weird. Strange. It's over $1.04. Interesting. All right, let's see. Brett is down 8.2% today to 17 cents, 17.1, I guess. We have Wormhole down 8.3 to 62 cents. XMR is actually up 4.5% to 177 bucks. Man, it's crazy. It still surprises me that XMR is that expensive. Again, Caspa up 3.2% today. We have Quant again 5.8%. It says over here on Crypto Bubbles it was 6% on Coin360, but nonetheless a little bit of a, I guess, variation there. Let's see. We have Bonk down 2.9%. We have Crow down 2.4% to 10 cents. Pepe's up 1.7%. Jasmy's actually down 2.9%. Jasmy's been on a tear lately, but I actually sold some, took some profits. So yeah, that's I don't know. I don't know how much higher this thing's gonna go. How high do you think Jasmine's gonna go? Is anybody holding this like long term? Let me know in the chat. Good morning, Mr. Max Voltage in the house. Appreciate you. Crypto for Seniors, you too. I like your new logo. Looks awesome, actually. Let's see. If you guys have any questions, just at me in the chat. More or less just kind of shooting the breeze today, seeing what's new, because I haven't streamed in quite some time. Actually, by the way, if anybody's having Ubiquity issues, the problem with my setup was the mesh network on my AP. So my access point, it somehow, the update turned on my my mesh signal, I guess, and that was backfeeding and causing a whole bunch of errors and throwing things off and killing my stream. And yeah, it took like literally a week to figure it out. So that's what was wrong. If anybody has that issue, shut off mesh on your APs and it should fix it. At least I hope so. All right, let's move on. Fear and Greed Index flashbang over here. We have 72 on the Fear and Greed Index. Again, it was over 75 last week, a few days, and yesterday it was as well. So again, over 75, I really worry about it. That's when we usually see some sort of pullbacks, and we actually did see a pullback, as you guys know. So each his own, do what you will. All right, looking over here, let me just refresh this. Trending coins, we got Super Trump. Super, what are these coins, man? Super Trump is up 29.8%.
Perfect.
Mantra up 15.8%. And then we have what's this? Mimu the Bull is up 17.1. These freaking meme coins, insane. Chomp coin is up 47.4%. We have Normie up 45% and Spike up 58.9%. Like, oh, it's the year of the meme coins. That's what it is on the Chinese calendar. If anybody was wondering, year of the meme. We have, all right, top 10 coins by coin market cap over here on CoinGecko. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, Lido Stake, Ether, USDC, XRP, Dogecoin, and Toncoin took 10th place at $17.2 billion market cap. Cardano has fallen to a $15.7 billion market cap, and it's in 11th place. I am still shocked Shiba's holding this strong in 12th place. I really am. I really am. I guess last year has been doing all right, but I don't know. Is this gonna come back, you guys? Do you think we're gonna see this? Like, is this, and then we're just gonna see a rip? I don't know. That'd be kind of cool, but I don't know. I just work here. You guys tell me what you think. Smash that like. Appreciate you. Yeti, what's up, dude? Haven't seen you in a minute. No chump coin. Dom G. No. No. I think there's already a panda coin. Isn't there a panda coin? Let me see. Let's just type it in panda. Yeah, there is a panda coin. Oh man, it would have been funnier if it was red. Would have been funnier if it was red. All right, let's just scroll down a little bit. Let's see. Litecoin is still doing pretty well. $5.9 billion market cap. Looking pretty good, actually. It's looking really good. Over here in 22nd place, I think Litecoin's a sleeping giant. It'll explode in the next bull run, or in this bull run coming up. Caspa still holding 30th place strong at a 3.8, almost $3.9 billion market cap. I think Caspa's going to do really well as well. I heard, you know what? I'm not going to say who, but somebody that I talk to pretty often actually is convinced that Caspa's going to go to like $7. I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot. That would be like a $150 billion market cap. I think it's a little I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot. All right. Listen, when everything explodes, okay, in this bull run coming up, when it happens, it's not if, it's when, because it's gonna happen. All these market caps gonna raise, okay? But we only have 3 right now over 100 billion. Okay, BNB's close. It's at 98. But if Caspa was at 150 billion, I don't know where these would be, but that would put it right up in the top 10. And that'd be a lot. Hey, listen, I hope it happens. I hope it happens. I'm telling you, you know what? I want to pay my house off, so let's do it. let's hit $7. I don't think it's gonna happen, but that's you know what? I'll take $1. I'll be happy with $1 or even 50 cents. Let's break 50 cents first, and then we'll work on the rest. All right. Anything else? Is there any sleeping giants that you guys are really kind of diving into right now? Right now is a good time to get in on things. If you're like, think you're late, you're most likely not. Yeah, things have jumped in the last week, but honestly, when you have a little bit of pink in the market, it's probably time to start DCAing into certain things, right? Even Caspa, I do think that you're still pretty early, to be honest. I don't think you're anywhere close to where this thing's gonna peak out. This has never seen a bull run, so it is gonna do well. I just don't know how well. I don't think multiple dollars, but that's just my opinion. It really could though, if smart contracts happen. If they get smart contracts and yeah, everything rolls out properly, I think it could do very, very well long term. But nonetheless, doesn't matter what I think. It's what you guys think. All right, moving on. Mining. In the mining space, let's see. Crypto miners, you guys know, like, timestamp this, see what we're making per day on all these units. So let's start off with the Bitmain Antminer KS5 Pro 21 terahash unit. We got $88 a day. Again, this is after you pay a 10 cent per kilowatt hour electric rate. This is your profit. We have the Antminer KS5 20 terahash unit making $83.81. We got the KS5M 15 terahash unit making $60 a day. The KS5L making $46.45. The Dragon Ball Miner KS6, same as the BMKS Max, both making $39.62 a day. We got the Windminer K9 10.3 terahash unit making $38.95. The Gold Shell Lithium AL box making it's 360 gigahash unit making $36.29. Let's see how Lithium's doing actually, because I haven't looked at that in a minute. Just see. A Lithium 1.41% up on the day. Nice. At least it's over $1.50, because it got down to $1.50 last week. Yeah, it was pretty rough on the 3rd. Pretty rough. Is it the lowest it went? Is that the lowest it went? I think it is. Yeah, $1.50. Yeah, that was getting pretty hairy. I don't know. And then we're getting some news with the what, there's a new ASIC coming out. If that thing comes out, and yeah, I don't know, it's probably gonna kill the coin again. But I think before they actually release that new one, actually, is there a projected date? Does anybody know for the new gold shell box? It was like 8 terahashes or something. It was like literally insane. It was hundreds of dollars a day that thing was going to be making. But nonetheless, I think that, to be honest, I think China will pump the market for lithium before they release that. That's just my opinion. They have to be playing games. There's no way. Seeing September, okay, yeah. So I have a feeling that they'll end up pumping this coin somehow, just putting a bunch of money into it, because why wouldn't they? Make it look better than it is, you know? And yeah, that's kind of the games they play, unfortunately. But it is what it is, the mining game. You know, first one in, you want to be the first one out. That's pretty much how it goes. All right, Ice River KS3 over here, 8 terahash unit, making $28.72 a day, and the KS3M 6 terahash unit is making $19 a day. I'm actually going to be, I think I'm getting the KS0 Ultra. Ice River reached out. I think they're going to send one over for review. So I don't know if it's going to happen. Hopefully, we're going to see. But that unit might be kind of cool in the solar trailer, I guess. I actually did some. Oh, I'm dropping a video actually today at 10 o'clock. So about an hour and a half. A video is going to drop rearranging my solar stuff in the trailer, which is pretty cool. So I'm all prepped and ready because I think I'm getting the solar setup. Shout out to Signature Solar on when am I getting that? Friday. I think most of it's coming Friday. I think all my panels are showing up. I'm super excited because I need them to be able to get this gazebo exact. I don't want to guess measurements and try to land where all the I guess the what 2x6s or whatever it is, 2x8s I'm going to be running for the actual panels on top of the pergola, because I want to like land it directly in between 2 panels. So it should be pretty sweet. We're gonna see what happens there. But anyways, I'm gonna do a whole video building that. I just have to get all the stuff before I can like dive into that part of it. Over here looking at the Antminer L7 9050. You guys know I got this thing down at Terra Hosting. Shout out to those guys. If you want to pay about 10 cents per kilowatt hour or 9.5 cents or so, you'd be making on your L7 9050 $11.17 a day. This thing's actually been killing it. Can't wait. Cannot wait. Oh, I saw the L9 actually. They on terahashes. They have it on I think. Man, no coffee today is throwing me off bad. Is it terahashes.com? It is terahashes.com. And they have the L9 pre-sale. I think he put out a tweet. Can I search? Yeah, I can. L9. No. Maybe it was just, maybe check out Twitter. Might be on Twitter. Never mind. Anyways, this is their site. If you want to look at some ASICs, feel free. But the L9, I think the pre-order was like 15K, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw it. 15K. Andrew Stad. Yeah. All right. I'm not mistaken. So yeah, 15K. I'm pretty sure it was pre-order for August. I don't know. You guys let me know if you think that's worth it. I think the L7 still kills it, dude. This thing's 3 years old. It's still making $10 a day. Like, and in the bull run, this thing's gonna be making like 30. About roughly. That would be my guess. But hey, listen, to each his own. You guys do what you want. All right, Gold Shell KA box. Looking at this one, we're making $4.41 a day. That's the 1.18 terahash unit. The Ice River KS2 2 terahash unit is making $6.22 a day, and the KS1 is still making $3.11 a day. Man, these units, I hope everybody made their money back on these, to be honest. I really do. Look at ETH F, looks like it's on the top of the charts today. Interesting. For some of these, we have the X16Q. ETH F making $3.58 a day. That's the 1915 mega hash. Interesting. This is the Ice River KS0 Ultra, the 400 gigahash unit that is only 100 watts. I'm really interested to see if it is only 100 watts. Should be making $1.58 a day after 10 cents per kilowatt hour. So this will be pretty cool to run in the trailer. I'm actually excited about getting that. And the Ice River KS0 Pros, you guys know I got like 10 of these things. Actually, I got 9, and I got one original. Making 67 cents a day after 10 cents per kilowatt hour. I'm gonna have to go out there and mess with those a little bit today. But the KS0 is only making 30 cents a day. Pretty terrible, but it's all right. It could be worse. You know what? I'm hoping everything pumps and these miners make more. Oh god, is this 19K underneath? Is it down here? Is it in the negative? All right, I pass it. Did I pass it? Tell me I passed it. I did. Yes, look at that. The S19K Pro 120 terahash unit making 56 cents a day after 10 cents per kilowatt hour.
Perfect.
That's way better than ROIing never. Only 77.9 months payback time. Oh, that's terrible. All right. Oh, actually, yeah, whatever. All right, GPUs. Let's look over here. Moving on. 4090 for Graham. Looks like that's on the top of the charts, and the Ironfish and Pyron on the top of the charts as well. We get the 4080 Super over here. Pyron, Ironfish and Pyron. Looks like that's pretty much the consensus all the way down for the most part. And then Graham over here on the other 4070s. Let's see. Xano on the top of the chart with 7900 XT. We got Zealous over here. Actually, I'm still mining Zealous. Zealous has been actually pretty profitable. I've just been mining it straight to Trade Ogre and selling it. Why not? Let's see. I can afford food this week. Why are you saying that? I'm confused. Why did you say that? That's so random. Let's see. But discounting the 21 terahash unit down to the 12 to 13K just makes me wonder if they're about to come out with some kind of Caspa monster ASIC. You know what, Michael? You're probably right. They probably are going to come out with some insane Caspa ASIC. There's definitely something in the works for sure. There has to be. I mean, look at the yields on these things. They're not. I mean, look at this. KS2, so that's making 55 Caspa a day. What's the biggest one? Make it 583. Man, like, remember when like a GPU would crank that out? That's crazy. They'll definitely make a new one as soon as Caspa starts bumping, man. See ya. They're gonna be making something giant and selling it for like an arm and a leg. You have to give like a kidney. Oh, my S19K profits. Oh, I got you. What is this? What's AITT? 6800 XT. AITT. How do you even say that? I don't even know. I don't even know. Altcoin? Altcoin? I don't even know how you'd say that. Anyways, that's on the top of the charts. The 7900. I mean, sorry, the 6800 XT. Let's see. Yeah, Xano, Conflux, and Pyron. And you guys got a whole bunch of shit to pick from. Look at this. Flux and Dynex. Ooh, look at this. Flux and Dynex. There are a couple once again. Look at that. The RTX 2080. Mining either one of those should be all right. Firo on the 90HX. What in the hell? Get out of here. No one's mining Firo. No. Yeti. Oh, that's great. Oh, look at this. All right, we got on CPUs. I honestly have not seen this at all ever. I've never seen XMR and Zephyr on the top of the charts for all CPUs. Interesting. So you guys got both these. How's Zephyr doing actually? Let's see. Down 2.15%. $3. Let's see. Oh boy, kid's coming down. Oh boy, I'm gonna get bombarded right now. Zephyr's took a pretty mean shit on the past month, 3 months, 1 year. Yep, it's taken a pretty mean one. That is what it is though. All right, mining pool stats.stream. Let's see new coins. I want to see what we got. Regus. What is Regus? What the hell is Regus? I think I looked at this last week. Didn't I look at this last week? I did. If you guys get off of this site, please do it at your own risk. It's on you. All right, you could definitely get a virus, so don't do it. I did look at this last week. I looked at this last week. Not for me. It's compile algorithm anyways. Not for me. All right, that's just gonna run stupid hunting GPUs. All right, events calendar. Let's see what we got over here. Gold Cash is going through a halving in 4 days. We have 0.25 to 0.125. What in the hell? What are you doing? Just dragged a chair all the way from over there to come sit with me. There you go, buddy. All right, anyway, sorry. CAU going through a hydro fork in 13 days. We get this I still don't understand this. 18 days Pepe coin. This is yeah, it's a Pepe, whatever the hell you want to call it. PP coin. It's not the real coin. I don't know. The FEC in 96 days. Anyways, does anyone care really? 2 weeks went by for Octaspace to pick up in price action, so I'm wondering if the same thing's gonna happen with Ethereum Classic. Possibly. That's what I'm kind of expecting. Probably a couple more days we're gonna start seeing Ethereum Classic start to bump up again, at least hopefully, right? That's kind of the hopes. All right, let's get into this. Yes, dad mode activated. Yep. Little man right here. Dude, this kid sleeps. Can I see this real quick? I'm shocked he let it go. He sleeps with this little Mario. And it's funny because, like, I'm a plumber by trade. But dude, this is like favorite toy. He will not let it go. I wake up with that thing like in my spine. It's awful. All right, we're gonna catch up on some news from Friday. I want to see what the big news was, because obviously you guys know I didn't stream on Saturday. I kind of stopped doing that, so we're going to watch this and see what's going on here. Not really do the price stuff, but I want to see what the news was, and then we're gonna get into a few videos. Guys, let's do it. Hit that like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Actually, I hate this, by the way. I hate how they redid this. You gotta hit the like button like over here now. Stupid. All right, let's do it.
Okay, let's talk about the top stories. In her latest effort to tackle cryptocurrency fraud, the New York Attorney General Letitia James sued 2 digital asset companies and their executives for allegedly defrauding hundreds of thousands of victims out of more than $1 billion worth of crypto. James said they carried out the alleged fraud by targeting immigrant communities, particularly Haitian New Yorkers, in prayer groups and through social media and WhatsApp group chats.
Bruh.
According to James, people who were tempted by—
Dude, I don't ever trust WhatsApp or Telegram. Like I just don't. I can't. They're like in the same category for me, just scam artists, like a full around that space. I don't get it. And Dan R, even better when you step on it. You know what? Every time I step on a toy, I think of friggin' Big Daddy. You guys remember that movie with Adam Sandler? And he's like, Scuba Steve, damn you. Every single time I step on a toy, that's the thing I think of.
By the promise of high returns on investments, transferred more than $1 billion worth of crypto over a 4-year period to the now defunct company Novatech, but only less than $26 million was actually used for trading. She also alleged that in the 2 years prior to its collapse, Novatech's founders were also involved in promoting another company, AWS Mining, and claimed that it could triple people's money within 15 months. That company collapsed in 2019, resulting in millions of dollars in losses to investors. In a statement, James said the companies targeted immigrant and religious communities with promises of financial freedom, but instead stole their money and drained their life savings, adding that we are seeing the real dangers of unregulated cryptocurrency platforms with schemes like these. The lawsuit seeks restitution for the victims. James also seeks to ban the 2 companies and its founders from doing business in New York. Next, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York charged 3 UK nationals in connection with an NFT scam. According to federal prosecutors, the charges stem from the defendants' quote, scheme to dupe victims into purchasing digital art known as the Evolved Apes collection of NFTs. In a statement yesterday, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said that the 3 allegedly ran a scam to drive up the price of digital artwork through false promises about developing a video game. They allegedly took investor funds, never developed the game, and pocketed the proceeds. He went on to say that thousands of people believed these false promises and were tricked into buying these NFTs. The 3 UK nationals face money laundering and conspiracy to commit wire fraud charges. All right, turning to ETFs for our main story. Crypto World's Talia Kaplan sat down with Sun Raghupati, the co-founder of the DeFi protocol Veda, to discuss the latest developments related to spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs here in the US and other regions around the world. He also weighed in on recent regulatory developments in crypto and how the US compares to other countries.
There have been big developments in crypto in recent weeks. In fact, 2 weeks ago, the SEC approved a rule change which would pave the way for spot Ether ETFs. What was your reaction to that decision? Were you surprised by the decision? And overall, what do you think it means for the crypto industry as a whole?
I would definitely say I was surprised. I think myself and probably the market more broadly was pricing in an ETF rejection. That being said, I think my view, and again the view of the community at large, was that an ETF approval was inevitable at some point. So it was definitely a pleasant surprise. I think the price appreciation that ETH saw immediately when sentiment started to change was also generally I think a good thing that the industry felt. I think that the ETFs more broadly represent this crossing of a chasm for crypto assets, right? Like Bitcoin, for example, was kind of a niche asset when it was first created. We've since seen mainstream adoption, and now with the ETF for BTC, we've seen it cross the chasm into institutional adoption. And Ether now is the only other crypto asset in history to do that. I think it's really exciting. I have a lot of thoughts on why I think Ether is going to actually be more appealing to traditional finance and institutions. But yeah, it's a huge day, huge moment, very exciting for the industry, huge win.
Oh, wow. He's saying Ether might be more appealing to the industries. That's kind of neat, actually. You know, I was hearing some stuff about that too. Actually, it's Anthony Scaramucci with Altcoin Daily. I do have the video here pulled up, but it's actually in the description below if you guys are interested. I haven't listened to it yet, but he was talking about that as well. Ethereum's probably going to do very, very well compared to Bitcoin when the ETF comes out. Just, I think it's cheaper, and that's probably the main reason why. But it's also kind of like investing in like Google in the crypto space. You know what I mean? Because like everything runs on it. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, that's it.
Let's talk more about that. Why do you think it's going to be an even bigger appeal for institutions?
I think Ether as an asset and Ethereum as a concept and as a blockchain makes way more sense to institutions for a variety of reasons. One of those is yield. So if you think about what Ether, the asset, you can do with it, you can stake it, and that is paying you a yield. Now, the ETFs that were approved recently do not include staking. And I think, you know, this is not a huge surprise. It's a win nonetheless, but we will see in the long run, at least is my prediction, ETFs that are staked. So what that means is these institutions are offering these ETFs to holders. In the background, they can stake that Ether and earn a yield on it. Now, the concept of yield is obviously much more appealing to TradFi, and it's something inherent in the Ethereum ecosystem that is not inherent in the Bitcoin ecosystem. And I think that is one thing that traditional finance institutions are going to enjoy about the asset. The other piece is tokenization. So that's a huge topic. We can get into it, but
real quick, and sorry, DJ Death Star, thank you so much for being a member for 5 months, dude. You're awesome. He said, glad to be a part of this community. Crypto has become less scary because of you and Misfit Mining. Keep up the great work. Hodl Gang, dude, you're awesome. Appreciate you. Thank you for the support.
We've seen, you know, firms like BlackRock basically, you know, confirm that they are interested in tokenization and that they see tokenization as the long-term future for finance and for crypto. And Ethereum, in some sense, is the perfect platform for tokenizing all kinds of digital assets and bringing that into this crypto world.
Exactly. In fact, in March, BlackRock, which is the world's largest asset manager, jumped into the asset tokenization race, creating a fund on the Ethereum network. Now, as we're seeing these developments unfold here in the US as it relates to crypto ETFs, we're also seeing different moves abroad. In fact, this week, Australia launched its first spot Bitcoin ETF that went live. Thailand approved its first spot Bitcoin ETF this week. And in April, Asia's first spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs started trading in Hong Kong. So what do you think about all those developments and the fact that other regions around the world are getting into these crypto spot ETFs? Do you think it's in an effort to stay competitive with the US?
I think that largely crypto kind of fundamentally is a cross-border international global system. And I think that competition between different jurisdictions and regimes is really healthy for the ecosystem, right? I think that it may be not necessarily a result of trying to remain competitive with the US, but rather we're seeing crypto reach adoption in many different jurisdictions for many different reasons. I think being in the US, we have this kind of privileged view that, okay, we see crypto as this volatile asset, but in a lot of places, crypto is actually not volatile relative to the base currency, right? And so this like organic demand that you see in many different jurisdictions is being manifested in many other places are very crypto positive and very willing to engage with that technology from a regulatory perspective. So I definitely think there's some element of competition and trying to capture these markets, but there's also an element of this is a movement that just has to be accepted by the world, and we're seeing that play out.
Sticking with other regions around the world, we have seen major regulatory advancements in places like the EU, UK, Singapore, and Dubai. And it's important to note we have seen some big developments here in the US too in recent weeks. The House recently passed the Fit for the 21st Century Act, which is a crypto market structure bill. So do you think developments like that are enough for the US to catch up to the rest of the world as it pertains to crypto regulation? Do you think the US is falling behind? Where do you stand in that regard?
Yeah, I think we've had some really positive and exciting developments over the past month that, again, everyone is excited about. I do think it's a start, and we are not there yet. I think that what we're seeing now with crypto being kind of this central point that's being debated in politics is really important. But it's just a start. There's a lot of work to do. Regulation is very much still behind, and I'm optimistic that we're seeing kind of the turn of a new era where regulators are willing to engage with the technology and really embrace this movement that I think is very socially positive.
Now, as we're seeing these regulatory advancements in places around the world, many crypto firms, including Coinbase, announced plans to expand overseas. In fact, this week, Robinhood announced that it is buying the crypto exchange Bitstamp for $200 million in cash in an effort to expand outside of the US. So what do you think about that development? And do you think more firms will take moves like this?
Mr. Andrew Masad, thanks for being a member for 9 months, dude. 9 months already. Must be having fun. Time flies when having fun, man.
I think that we will start to see firms become international. And again, like part of this is just, crypto is a global system, and being able to engage with people outside of the US is really important. So yeah, I don't think this is surprising. I think, it was pretty interesting, Robinhood's acquisition. It is the oldest exchange alongside Coinbase. That's its own interesting topic. But yeah, I think we'll see more and more firms start to establish presences outside of the US. I think it's also really great that we have companies like Coinbase that are remaining in the US and continuing to fight that battle and help bring about, I guess, education and adoption of crypto within the country as well.
I'm still waiting for like some BS to come out with like crypto.com, because we haven't seen nothing or them talked about really at all, which is kind of crazy. All right, altcoins are coming to Wall Street. We're going to get into the videos of the day. This is Mr. Anthony Pompliano. If you guys don't know who he is, go check him out. I do have a link to his channel and this video down in the description below. So let's get into it without further ado.
What's up, guys? Bang, bang. Altcoins are coming to Wall Street. Now, wait a second. Before you get upset, because I said that, hear me out for a second. Things are about to get real crazy. Franklin Templeton was just rumored to be exploring a brand new fund. This fund would give institutional investors exposure to crypto assets outside of Bitcoin and Ether. That's right. Franklin Templeton wants to go all the way down the coin market cap list and give people exposure to all those other assets. Now, why would they do this? Bitcoiners would say, that's not Bitcoin, that's a distraction. Let me explain what's happening. See, one of the counterintuitive things is that Wall Street loves risk. That's right. They are not as risk averse as you think. Plenty of people think they're dumb, but actually Wall Street is just addicted to risk. Why?
Because they're addicted to making money. That's why.
Risk has volatility, and volatility means that maybe there could be returns there for the big institutional investors. So that's exactly what we're seeing, is that Wall Street has woken up to the fact that crypto is risky, but also crypto has lots of volatility and there's a lot of potential return.
They also probably see that there's a lot of young people in it, and there's a lot of dumb money to be taken without, I guess throwing any disrespect around. But do you know what I mean? Like it's kids that aren't really, or people that aren't really used to investing like traditionally. And yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys are going to win. That's just a fact.
And so that's where they want to go and allocate capital. Now, if the big institutions want to allocate capital to something, someone somewhere is going to create a fund, a vehicle, or some sort of mechanism for them to get exposure to it. And so, of course, Franklin Templeton and probably many others are considering giving altcoin exposure to Wall Street. Now, here's what's really interesting about this. You can look at options to understand just how much Wall Street loves risk. A zero-day option is basically a bet on what you think is going to happen to the market today. You're betting on where the market's going to be by the close of the market in the same day. Zero-day options make up more than 50% of all options trading. That's basically gambling. Wall Street has created the greatest casino in history. And now there are these brand new assets, crypto assets, altcoins, things outside of Bitcoin that have tons of volatility, and that means that Wall Street is going to show up with size. I like to think of this as a natural progression of the market. Of course, people are going to buy Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is a great store of value. You buy Bitcoin and you hold it. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin's dollar exchange price goes up, and so it feels like you're making more money in dollar fiat terms, but you still just have 1 Bitcoin. And so if you go and you take a look at these altcoins, it's the same exact thing, just on steroids. They go up lots in fiat terms, but a lot of them are going to end up being worthless. So in the sense that Bitcoin investors are long-term thinkers, they're buying something, they're not going to sell, and they want to hold it for the long term. Altcoin investors are not doing that. Altcoin investors are saying, give me the dopamine, give me the short-termism. I want to buy something, watch it go up a lot very quickly, and then sell it.
You know, that's kind of crazy. I mean, it's true though, because a lot of people look at crypto like it's they want to get rich now. They don't want to get rich later. But crypto realistically is a long-term play. It's not just the short-term game. You know what I mean? And that's why most people lose.
Well, guess what happens there? Some people make money, but many don't. But that doesn't matter to Wall Street because they don't care about the long-term viability of these assets. They simply want to be able to buy things, make money quickly, and get out of them. That goes against everything that Bitcoin stands for.
They're just gonna
but
take
it's
your money.
not going to stop the fact that
Makes
altcoins
sense.
are coming to Wall Street. The more that we watch these assets gain popularity in crypto, the more that we should expect Wall Street to want to allocate to them. See, there's this term in crypto called a crypto degen. It's an endearing term. It's meant to talk about these people who have these really radical investing strategies. Frankly, they're doing things that violate all of the traditional investing principles. But one secret of Wall Street is there's just as many, if not more, degens on Wall Street than there are in the crypto market. How many times do you have to see Wall Street investors create super exotic financial products, take on massive amounts of leverage, or do things that end up in ruin for you to realize that Wall Street is all about risk taking? They simply want to risk money to drive a return. Today's episode.
He always throws an ad in the middle, and I was like super close to getting it. All right, here we go.
The thing about risk is the more risk you take, the more return you should get paid for having taken that risk. And so in crypto, there is immense risk. But the further you get on the coin market cap list, the more risk you're taking. And therefore, you're going to need to drive a higher and higher return to compensate you for that risk. And that's exactly what Wall Street's looking for. Wall Street loves things that go up 10%. They love things even more that go up 100%. But if you show up and say, there's an asset that may go up 10,000% or it may go to zero, you have a line out the door of Wall Street investors who say, let me understand what this is. Let me try to value it. Let me try to predict the future. And I'm willing to risk a little bit of dollars in order to make a big return.
Well, it's because they got a lot more money to risk than us. Dan R said that was a picture of him, the silhouette, because he's the degen in crypto. Yeah, you're probably not wrong. Probably not wrong.
And so naturally, some of these financial institutions are going to figure out ways to give them exposure. Franklin Templeton's trying to do it in a private fund. Many others will probably launch private funds as well. Eventually, though, there'll be public funds. You'll be able to buy these altcoins in the public market. Now, a bunch of Bitcoiners are going to yell and scream. They're going to say, wait a minute, this is all garbage. Why would we ever let people buy this? Well, look at the stock market. I can show you a ton of stocks
So different
that
than
are
penny
down
stocks.
90, 95, 99%. That doesn't mean that we should shut down the stock market. It
Does
just
anybody trade penny stocks? Right? Isn't that kind of the same thing, right? Like that would be like altcoins, I guess.
means that specific company was overvalued and the market is punishing it. See, that's the beauty of a free market, is that the market is the referee. It rewards the companies or assets that end up being more valuable in the future, and it punishes those that are not. And so ultimately, I actually think that having these crypto assets exposed to a bigger market will help us identify which ones are valuable and which ones are not. If you're a hardcore Bitcoin maximalist and you believe Bitcoin is the thing that is going to survive, then everything else will die and you've got nothing to worry about. If you're somebody who believes that smart contract platforms are going to end up being successful, then as those assets get exposed to more people in the market, they should continue to appreciate in value. And if you're somebody who thinks that meme coins are the future, although I may disagree with you, then having those exposed to more people in a market should lead to more value creation. But who cares what my opinion is? And frankly, who cares what your opinion is?
Facts. Could you imagine though? Like, what is it? A dog whiff hat? Wasn't it like a $4.2 billion market cap or something? Could you imagine that shit went to like a $20 billion market cap and they had like an ETF of it? That would be awful. That would just be awful. But at the same time, I mean, people would kill it.
The market is the referee. The market participants will allocate capital. And over time, the market usually gets it right. It may take a while, but really the market ends up doing a great job of taking money from bad companies and bad assets and reallocating it to good companies and good assets. And so we are at the start of figuring out which assets actually are valuable
Perfect.
and which ones are not. That's the beauty of these public markets. And so, although the SEC has been very slow to approve a ton of products, I do believe that this approval of an Ether ETF is going to open the floodgates. Altcoins will come to Wall Street. What is the difference between Ether and name your next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 coins? It's unclear. And so I do think that we are going to see single name ETFs for a bunch of assets. I think that a ton of financial institutions are going to get very clever about how to give people various types of exposure to these assets. And I even think that you're going to see people start to take crypto assets and traditional assets and put them in the same exact type of fund. And so when that starts to happen, you're going to get a blending of these two industries. No longer will there be a crypto market and a traditional market. It's all going to be the financial market. People will allocate capital. Some people will win. Some people will lose. Some people will take too much risk, and some people won't take enough risk. But that is ultimately what capitalism is about. Your opinion doesn't matter. The market is the referee. And over a long enough time frame, the market will get it right.
I don't think he's wrong at all, to be honest. I really don't. All right, let's move on to Altcoin Daily over here. Michael Saylor gives the greatest Bitcoin explanation. Let's see what he's got to say over here. I guess he was talking to Graham Stephan, actually. There's a whole, I think it was like an hour-long video, and I actually started watching it, but I forgot, and I didn't get to finish it. But nonetheless, let's get the highlights of it here. If you guys don't mind, hit that like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Let's do it. All right. Nope, I'm not going to do that. It is muted. Hold on. There we go. Now let's try it again.
How are you so convinced it's going to be going up in price 20 to 40% a year over the next, let's say, 10 to 20 years?
Michael Saylor gives another must-see explanation on why Bitcoin is going up forever.
You have to buy something with price, supply, and elasticity.
And in this clip from the Iced Coffee Hour podcast, Michael Saylor does the impossible.
So what is the one thing on the earth that you can buy where they can't make more of?
I would say beachfront real estate.
Convinces Graham Stephan, the biggest real estate bull on financial YouTube, that buying Bitcoin today is a better opportunity than even beachfront real estate.
Wait, I heard some shit about that guy Graham Stephan, by the way. And it wasn't just him. It was like a bunch of people, but like they were promoting some bank that was like screwing people. Actually, it was CoffeeZilla that made a video about it. Did you guys hear that? It was like a bank that's like screwing people, and like there was a bunch of big YouTubers that like were promoting it. Yada Bank, is that what it is? Yeah, dude, I don't know anything about it, but I watched that video this weekend. I was like, damn, that sucks. That's really shitty. That ruins a lot of people.
Beachfront real estate is the closest conventional idea.
And watch today's whole video. Pop star Iggy Azalea calls out the founder of Ethereum
there you go,
for
guys.
gas fees and more.
That's rich. Let's talk about the gas fees, but the gas tax.
This is everything you need to know going on in crypto today.
How many of you guys watched that Roaring Kitty live stream? Did you guys see that? He had like, what was it, 600,000 people in his live stream? Like, what? And it was like just about nothing. It was like no reason.
That's why you subscribe.
I was like,
and let's
goddamn.
start another must-see explanation on why Bitcoin is going up forever.
Beachfront real estate would be one of them, but also Bitcoin.
Beachfront real estate is the closest conventional idea to a scarce desirable asset that the politicians can't make more of. What is it the government can't print more of? They can print more bonds. Mm-hmm. They will issue trillions of dollars of bonds. They can print more currency, so don't buy that. Corporations can manufacture more Hershey's bars and more Kellogg's cereal and more, Netflix can stream more videos, right? So anything a company can create more of in a factory you don't want to buy, anything an AI can create. Yeah, you want to buy, art rights? Well, if the AI can generate infinite free art personalized, then those rights might not be worth anything. So you don't want anything a robot can do. You don't want anything an AI can create. You don't want anything a manufacturer can create. You don't want anything a politician can create. You ask the question, what's the thing that's least likely to be taxed or expropriated, seized from you? Okay, and so Bitcoin's interesting and beachfront property is interesting, but beachfront property it's illegal to buy it in certain countries. In the UAE, you couldn't buy it if you wanted to. You have to be a member of the royal family to buy it. That's actually a law. In Florida,
Yeah.
the beachfront property comes with a 2% property tax. So that means that you can buy it, but you're going to have to come up with an equivalent amount of cash to pay the tax to keep it for 30 years. But another way to say it is over 30 years or 20 years, the state's just going to take it away from you. So maybe you want to buy some floating property that doesn't have a 2% tax on it. And the advantage of Bitcoin is maybe Bitcoin isn't property in Florida. But you can buy beachfront property in Wyoming. I guess you can't. No, right? So how do you move your beachfront property to Wyoming? Tricky. With Bitcoin, you can actually move your Bitcoin from Florida to Wyoming. And in the worst case, you could put it with a custodian in Singapore or Monaco or London, right? Carry it with you. So it's less likely to get a property tax. If you own the best building in a country where there's a coup d'etat, they're taking your building. Like look at what happened to everybody that owned property in Cuba. Castro took it all, right?
Yeah.
And so you're asking the fundamental question, why do I think Bitcoin will keep going up? Because every other investment is being diluted. It's either being mismanaged. You know, like you want to buy Kodak stock or Xerox stock? How'd that work out for you, right? Either your competitor destroys you, the management team destroys you, or it gets unionized. What happened to, if you buy a car company, it gets unionized and then it gets bankrupted by the union, maybe that wasn't a good investment. So companies have tariff risk, union risk, competitive risk, tax risk, execution risk, nexus risk. Alibaba was a good company, but maybe they can't do business in the US, right? So did you want to put all your money into a company that'll get banned in the country you live in? That's the challenge there. All that stack of risks, you can easily say that adds up to about 7% per year. If the return on the S&P index is 7%, if I could get the risk to go away, the return would be 14%. And so that's what we call equity risks. And there's a bunch of them. But if I go to property, real estate, maybe the real estate gets rent controlled. Maybe the real estate gets taxed. Maybe the tax increases. Maybe the real estate is struck by a tsunami. Maybe the real estate rusts. Maybe the real estate the neighborhood goes bad. Maybe people stop coming to the city, right? You had the best real estate in a city that died because the industry died, right? Maybe the country fails. Maybe the state fails, right? Real estate, in theory, is scarce desirable, but we can make more land. Half of Miami Beach is all just man-made. Half of Boston is man-made. Look at Emirates, a lot of man-made stuff. Go to Monaco right now. If the value of your land goes up too high, they just build out and they'll reclaim the ocean. The entire airport in Hong Kong's made on reclaimed land. Yeah. So even land itself isn't truly scarce. And of course, ultimately, there's plenty of real estate in the world. I mean, if you fly over the United States and you look down, you'll notice that 98% of the country is not occupied. Wow. Land doesn't make a good treasury asset. The ideal asset for a corporation or a wealthy person is an asset which is liquid and fungible. So I've got a certain amount of money, and on Saturday afternoon, if I need to raise cash, is there somebody somewhere in the world that will create a market for the thing that I have to sell? And there is a market for Bitcoin on Saturday afternoon worldwide. In fact, it's the greatest global market. There's not a market for your ranch in Texas on Saturday afternoon.
Awesome podcast appearance.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point, actually. And I didn't know that, actually, that he deleted videos from promoting FTX and this bank thing. Weird. That's really shitty, and shame on him.
I'll link the full episode down below. Now let's talk altcoins, Iggy Azalea, and Ethereum. Also, Michael Saylor's best interview, How Bitcoin Will Explode to $100 Million. I'll link this down below as well. But pop star Iggy Azalea just said this about Vitalik and Ethereum's gas fees.
I'm not.
Real quick, Max Voltage, are we sure he's the real guy? What do you mean he's the real guy? He's the real guy. Why are you saying that? Michael Saylor, a robot? Is that what you're saying?
Mad at this man's opinion, whatever. I question what you're doing with gas money, so it's rich.
Actually, just to set this up for a little bit of context, Iggy Azalea recently launched a meme coin called Mother, on the Solana
Oh my
blockchain.
God.
Basically another meme coin.
I heard about this. Who did I hear about this from? I forget. Man, I forget. Guys, celebrities don't give a shit about you. If you ask them what crypto is, they have no fucking clue. They just know it's a way to make money. That's it. Just saying it. It's true.
Launched by a celebrity, nothing really
Don't
special.
give a shit about you.
Although Mother is the second largest asset by market cap to emerge from meme coin factory Pump.fun. The outpost is partially responsible for
Pump.fun.
flooding Solana with 500,000 new tokens in May alone. Like many meme coins, Mother claims no value proposition whatsoever. So obviously the differentiator with this meme coin is that Iggy Azalea is backing it, although Vitalik has not been impressed. On Wednesday, the Ethereum founder, Vitalik Buterin, blasted celebrity tokens in general that touted financialization as a means to an end and lack some greater purpose. Iggy sensed he was throwing some shade and in response tweeted this: Vitalik was just hangry, and obviously Iggy acting as mother to Vitalik, and now she's coming after Vitalik's Ethereum for the gas fees.
This man's opinion, whatever. I question what you're doing with gas money, so it's rich.
All right. Just for 2 seconds. Not trying to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. Put her in a fucking turtleneck. No one's listening to her. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Let's just... Sorry.
Have an opinion about charities and hospitals, whatever the fuck you're saying. I'm like, that's...
Sex sells, baby.
That's rich.
Where it's
Let's
at.
talk about the gas fees, but the gas tax. Okay. Maybe some people shouldn't have an opinion sometimes.
Wow. Maybe some people
Stick
shouldn't
to
have an opinion
singing.
sometimes. Yet both Ethereum and altcoins and Bitcoin are thriving. The 34 Bitcoin ETFs
turtlenecks
now
are hot.
hold over 1.03 million BTC. They bought 5% of the entire Bitcoin supply in 6 months. The asset is getting scarcer, and also for Ethereum. Ethereum supply on exchanges is at an 8-year low. Ethereum ETFs are about to cause a massive supply shock. The direction of this trend is pretty telling.
Yeah, this is going to be good.
Checking in on altcoin news, the Cookie 3 is less than a week away, and I'm expecting this to absolutely send
that?
lads.
What?
So I am an investor in
Of course you are. Fucking chilling this shit. All right. Never mind. Get out of that before that turns into a rug. All right. You know what? I guess, you know what? We have some time. Let's watch this quick. Let's watch this. I want to see what this is about. I'm going to, whatever. We'll just let it play. I'm actually going to speed this up to a custom speed. Let's see. 1.2. It seems to be pretty good actually usually. So let's speed it up to that. See what they got to say over here on Altcoin Daily with Mr. Anthony Scaramucci. Let's do it. And that's muted again. Knew it. Damn it. All right.
Selling machine.
There we
Wall
go.
Street is just mechanizing right now to get this product onboarded at wirehouses, brokerage houses, registered investment advisors.
Anthony Scaramucci, in this interview, gets incredibly real about Bitcoin in 2024.
2 years from now, every person that manages wealth in this country will have Bitcoin as a weapon as it relates to tactical asset allocation.
We talk Ethereum ETF.
There's a Wall Streeter that's going to call you and say, you need a 2% allocation in Bitcoin, a 1% allocation in Ethereum. It may switch, a 2% allocation in Ethereum, a 1% allocation in Bitcoin.
Top altcoins.
I own Solana, I own Ethereum, I own Avalanche, I own PYR. Obviously, I own a position in Algorand.
Biden versus Trump.
The Biden administration has failed the industry. Right now, if you're a single issue voter, you're voting for Donald Trump. He is pro-crypto.
And so much more. Smash the like button, send this video to the one friend who needs to hear this. Let's jump into it. The great Anthony Scaramucci has a book out now, From Wall Street to the White House and Back, the Scaramucci Guide to Unbreakable Resilience.
I mean, Aaron, come on, look at the airbrushing, the spray tan, I mean, the Botox.
Listen, I don't mind Anthony Scaramucci at all, but he does remind me like a used car salesman.
I mean, there's a lot going on this book cover. Okay, I just want you to know that. Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for having me. You're the man, and there's a lot going on. But, you know, when I was with you a year ago and I was looking this up in preparation for the show, Bitcoin is approximately 27,000. Okay, today talking to you at 71,000. But the whole complexion and the whole world has changed for Bitcoin. And I would also venture to say for some of the other assets, including Solana, Ethereum, Cardano, etc., Algorand. But it really changed for Bitcoin. And why did it really change for Bitcoin? Because we won those court cases. The industry. I mean, I know Grayscale won the case, but the industry, which was behind Grayscale, those court cases were big leaders. And now you and I think we can comfortably say that Bitcoin is an asset class. I think we can both comfortably say that. And it's being backed up now by research, financial services research, backed up by some of the largest asset managers in the world. So this has been a seismic year. And I'll just finish this statement off with 2 sentences. Stay long, hold your position, and recognize that there's volatility in the past and there'll likely be volatility in the future, but don't get shaken out of it, because you didn't get shaken out of it, I didn't get shaken out of it, and we and our families and our clients are direct beneficiaries of it now.
I love it. Sage advice. Stay long, stay disciplined. And this is an election year. Crypto is a bigger election issue than it ever has been before. You are a political expert. You are an expert on the crypto industry. So crypto being a big election issue, what do you think about that? What do you notice? What's important to you?
So I'm up against it with my crypto posse, if you will, my fraternity or sorority of crypto people, whether it's Wendy, Ryan Selkis. I don't know where you guys stand on this, but Trump has now come out saying that he's pro-crypto, and he also did offer out very negative tweets as president about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, but he's now done the 180. He's for crypto. And so a lot of people in our industry are going in his direction. And I am a diplomat. I don't agree with Mr. Trump's policies. I have spoken out against them. I have explained that. Having said that, I am somebody that believes in the country and the system of the country. If you're for him, okay. I'm not. I had certain life experiences with him. Guys like Mike Pence who are close to, none of us who work very closely with him are endorsing him. What is going on, though, and I'm writing an op-ed for Blockworks right now, is that the administration, the Biden administration, has failed the industry. And the Biden administration has picked a guy by the name of Gary Gensler who needs to go. He's failed as the commissioner of the Securities Exchange, and he's made the system of regulation in the country way too political. Him and Senator Elizabeth Warren don't like crypto. They won't explain to you why they don't like it. They say it's rife with fraud. It isn't rife with fraud. We've had some fraud in crypto, but there's also been fraud in banks. Billions of dollars have been spent by the banks in terms of making mistakes and so on and so forth. So in quick summary, I'm for Biden because I dislike Trump. I don't want Trump to degrade the system or lead us into chaos as a country. I disagree with Biden on a lot of things. Mayor Ed Koch, the former mayor of
no matter which way, no matter which political party you like, we're effed either way.
New York once said, if you agree with me on 9 out of the 12 things, you should vote for me. If you agree with me on 12 out of the 12 things, you need a psychiatrist. Okay. And that's the point about politics. You're never going to find a perfect fingerprint. So what I would say to my crypto bros and my crypto sisters, we can disagree on this, but there's one thing I want us all to agree on, that the regulation of cryptocurrency and the blockchain should not be partisan or politicized. This should not be. This should be a right or wrong thing for the country. We have to work alongside of the Democrats, particularly the younger Democrats that voted for the 121 legislation that Biden stupidly vetoed. We have to educate these people so that when you and I are sitting here 1 or 2 years from now, this is a non-event. This is a burgeoning asset class in the United States. This is where both parties are agreeing that we need appropriate, commercially attractive regulation for the industry. And so what I worry about is all of us are moving for Trump, and I know a lot of us are, and none of us are on the Biden side. We don't want to overly politicize it. It should be a nonpartisan issue.
I like that. Crypto shouldn't be partisan. Crypto's for everybody. It shouldn't be, embraced.
And I think the Democrats are making a mistake. And when I say 9 out of 12,
1,000%.
I agree with them on the preservation of the democracy, the rule of law. I agree with them on the decentralized nature of the government. I don't want 15 million people deported from the country. Mr. Trump is calling for that. I'm sorry. I don't want the Handmaid's Tale armored car arriving in my neighborhood, designating certain people as illegals and pulling them out of the country. Now,
but are they illegal? I mean, I don't want that either, but like at the same time, it's like the fuck, like the borders are for a reason. Like what? That's like, that's like stealing something from a store and like saying you can't go get it back. Like I don't agree with that either. Like fuck that guy, knock him out in the parking lot, take the shit back. Like that's crazy.
Now some people may want that. I think that would be a real coarsening of the society, and it would create a more wicked society. And I want to live in an aspirational society where people are pursuing the American dream. The flip side is Elizabeth Warren doesn't want you to have control over your own money.
She sucks.
Okay, for some reason, she wants to suppress
she needs
you.
To get the hell out of here.
And it's you, Aaron, but I'm also saying you in the second person generic, We don't want that. We want people to be empowered with their money. We want people, particularly lower and middle class people, we want them to be able to pursue the American dream. Elizabeth Warren is a self-proclaimed progressive, but in my mind, she's actually a regressive. She's supporting the American Banking Association. She's supporting big scale centralized institutions, and she shouldn't be doing that. She should be for the little guy. You and I are for the little guy, and I'll continue to make that case and continue to fight that fight.
Oswaldo says, and borders should not be wide open. Free speech should not be censored. President should not be weaponizing the DOJ. Illegals should not be getting more benefits than the veterans, but we are. And that's, yeah, I mean, it's just a shitty situation. It really is.
But if you're a single issue voter for crypto, Donald Trump is the far better option. Would you say?
Oh, okay, but let me just flip it back to you. Trump just switched to pro crypto. You know he was anti-crypto. I know he's anti-crypto. We can show tweets of him anti-crypto.
But we know in the background he's not anti-crypto because he had his own NFT collection. He's obviously not anti-crypto, but he's just like going pro-crypto to grab all the votes. And I mean, like, how isn't that fucking smart? Like, Biden should be doing the same thing.
Joe Biden, by the end of June, switched to pro-crypto.
Thank you, Jesus. I would love that.
Okay, but I'm just saying, you're right. The answer to your question, I want to answer the question because I'm an upfront guy. Right now, if you're a single issue voter, you're voting for Donald Trump. He is pro-crypto. The administration is anti-crypto. However, you and I noticed in the middle of May, it looked like the ETF for Ethereum was going nowhere. And then miraculously, they made a decision to approve those ETFs.
Everything's changing, guys.
Now, he said he was going to veto that bill. And so I think he was forced into it. But if you see a sea change in Joe Biden, and again, we just saw a sea change. Politicians are capricious. We know this, and they're weather vanes. Trump is now spinning towards crypto. If Biden spins towards crypto, the industry is won. Because I want to take the industry and the regulation of the industry off the table.
So regardless of like Trump being pro crypto or Biden like being against it, I mean, they both want the same thing. Like the US dollar is to be number one. They don't want the US dollar to be debunked or I don't know, like not to be the primary, structure of like the world, right? They want it to be the dominant currency. Crypto is, again, obviously like for it or against it. They don't want it to surpass the dollar, right? But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to hurt either one of them to be for crypto. Like, how is that? It's not fighting against the US dollar. It's just fighting for a different kind of freedom, I guess.
Not be a partisan issue. I'm not saying we're there yet with Joe Biden, but I will tell you that we pushed the Elizabeth Warren, quote unquote, anti-crypto army nonsense out of the Biden campaign, thank God. And hopefully that will start to resonate.
And full disclosure, I'm not a Trumper, I'm just, I'm pro crypto. Got to ask.
I'm with you. And by the way, I'm full disclosure. I am not in love with either of these candidates. Just full disclosure. I'm a lifelong right of center person. I mean, I'm more of a libertarian. I'm socially agnostic on social issues and people's right to choose and sexual orientation. That's other people's personal lives. I don't want to be saying what they can and can't do. That's exactly how I feel. But I'm also for the democracy. When I read the Project 2025 and I read the Heritage Foundation's plan for exerting unitary executive privilege, unitary executive power on the society, I don't want that. And so remember, you're safest when there's nobody at the top that has that much control. The founders understood that. The reason why the country's government is the longest standing government right now, 250 years and counting, it has to do with the decentralized nature of it. Autocracies live and die. One-party systems live and die. This thing has lived on because of the diffusion, okay? And doesn't that speak to what the blockchain is and the decentralized nature of these assets? Okay, and this is something people should realize. The reason why Bitcoin is going to be with us. Bitcoin is going to be part of the furniture. Bitcoin is digital gold, or if you're Michael Saylor, it's digital property. Okay, he gets mad at me when I call it digital gold, but it's with us. It's part of the fabric. It's part of the furniture now. And let's not regulate it out of existence because it's not possible to do that. And I'll submit to you this, the regulators didn't want Uber. They did not want Uber. They tried to block Uber at the city level. They tried to block it at the state and federal level. But you know who wanted Uber? The people. People wanted Uber. And so we got Uber. And I think that's the same thing with the blockchain and Bitcoin and these other great assets.
Totally. I was an early adopter of Uber. I wish I would have been that early with Bitcoin. But
amen.
Let's zoom out a little bit from the election. I want to get your thoughts.
It's so hard to like not have crypto and politics like jive together. I'm not a political guy. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff, to be honest. But it's like it's literally in our face with this crypto thing, and it's you can't get rid of it, unfortunately. Regardless what you guys feel about it, whoever you want to vote for, it doesn't matter. You guys have the right to your own opinion. It is what it is. Just yeah, it's hard to ignore it though. It really is like in our faces.
On traditional markets, how you seeing those playing out the rest of the year? And then, well, obviously the next question is then, Bitcoin with that backdrop. So give us your thoughts on traditional markets. How do you see the rest of this year playing out?
Well, first of all, I have been in the camp of that we're going to get 2 and possibly still 3 rate cuts. And people look at me like I'm crazy because we were 7 rate cuts and then we went to 0 rate cuts. And I think the consensus now is 1 rate cut. But I actually think it's going to be more than. I believe that. Yes, I do believe that. I think they're going to come in the months of October, November, December. And I think what's going to end up happening is the Fed's going to move 25 basis points a clip at the end of the year because they're going to be behind the curve if they don't do that. The economy's weakening. You just saw the data that came out in housing markets. The housing market is slowing down. New mortgage applications, refinancings slowing down. And housing, whether we like it or not, is still a very large heartbeat in America. And I'll just remind your viewers and listeners that jobs are created in the United States by small businesses. Big businesses generally don't create the jobs. They stay at a rough equilibrium in terms of quotas. Small businesses create job growth, and 60% of the small businesses are tied to U.S. housing. Just go down your local main street. You'll see a hardware store, sheetrock guy, plumbing guy. They're all there. There's a bank there that lends out mortgage money to people's houses. There's real estate brokers on that block. And if you look at it, about 60% of it, insurance agents that are selling you property and casualty insurance, fire insurance for your home. It's all there. And when you have a slowdown in housing, you hurt those small businesses. And so the Fed knows this. And I believe that the Fed will start cutting rates. Will inflation be near 2%? And I'm going to tell you something. It already is. And I would ask your viewers and listeners to please go to truflation.com, truflation.com. And what that is a decentralized aggregator of pricing data from around the United States. And you'll see that number is at about 2.3%. You say, well, why is the government reporting a different number? Well, there's an expression that there are lies, Aaron, and there are damn lies, and there are statistics. So lies, damn lies, and statistics. The government can make these statistics look any way they want, and they change the inputs. So we don't think it's accurately reflecting the drop. It's a lagging indicator, those CPI numbers are using, and we think there's a larger drop. And a result of which I think you're going to get the rate cuts. You get the rate cuts, you're going to get a tear in Bitcoin. You're going to get a tear in risk assets. And I don't even think they're that overpriced. There's a lot of good things happening in the economy, and the earnings have generally been good.
So 3 rate cuts, get a tear in Bitcoin, get a tear in risk assets.
Yeah. So Bitcoin's over 100,000 by the end of the year. That's my honest opinion. It's at 71,000 now. And let's just do the math and you and I do the math together. At 71,000, it's 1.5 trillion. So let's say it goes up 50% from here, and it's 105,000. It's 2.2 trillion, and gold is at 16 trillion, and Bitcoin is only adopted up until about 5% adoption right now. So I don't see how, unless you tell me something that I don't currently know, which again, I've been humbled by life, I've been humbled by markets. So we all know that we don't know. We all know that. But based on my life experience in the markets, I do believe that this is going to go to 100,000 by year end. I just think that there's an overwhelming amount of institutional demand coming into the Bitcoin marketplace, and it's going to affect the other prices.
What do you guys think? 100K by year end?
100,000 Bitcoin price, something Bitcoin people have been talking about for
I think
years.
It'll happen.
Such a psychological
At least close
milestone. Like once Bitcoin clears 100K, dips back down, then pops back up, still clearing 100K. Do you think that's going to be when Bitcoin kind of enters a parabolic state as people get feeling good about it?
Well, you're maybe better at this than me. I do think that can happen. I would say it differently. I would take the Cathie Wood stance. I would say, again, been wrong about a lot of things in life, but let me just say this to you. I would say in 10 years, it is not impossible that Bitcoin could be between $600,000 and $800,000 a coin and still be lower than the overall market cap of gold.
Do you imagine?
And I'll just admit this to you. I'm 60. If there's a 25-year-old out there right now that owns Bitcoin, in 10 years, that person's going to be 35. In 10 more years, they'll be 45. That 40-year-old person 20 years from now is going to be very, very comfortable owning Bitcoin. It's going to be very fluid in the digital asset space. And most assets that you and I talk about, real world assets and others, will have been tokenized for a very long period of time by the time we get to 20 years out. So hopefully I'll be 80. Hopefully I'll still be here, Aaron. You'll be interviewing me. I'll have less hair. It'll look the same color. You'll have to talk to my colorist as to why it will look the same color. But I'll be here, I hope, God willing, and we'll be talking about this and saying, we were early and we were steadfast and we were disciplined. And I think our families will be rewarded by that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bitcoin's
Patrick, 20 plus 10 plus 10 equals 45. Yep, his math checks. He said 25. He did say 25.
really been welcomed into the club with these ETFs. And just before we get off of thoughts on this cycle for Bitcoin, what would be your bear case, base case, and bull case for Bitcoin this cycle?
Well, I mean, look, if we have a bear situation in Bitcoin, given that we've had a halving and given that we have this institutional momentum and I don't know, 10 or 11 ETFs in the US, several outside of the US that are generating demand. And if we get some upset of the apple cart, maybe it's a, God forbid, a terrorist attack or some larger, broader, catastrophic event. Could we lose 50% in Bitcoin? Sure. Could Bitcoin go from 71,000 to 36,000? Sure. Could it go back to 10,000? Boy, I'll tell you, it'd have to be a really rough thing going on in the civilization.
You know what's crazy? We sit here and think about it. Like if Bitcoin ever pulled back to 30K again, I'd buy another Bitcoin. But at the same time, we'd all be shitting our pants if it dumped down that low. Again, like always, you always get that feeling like, I don't know if now's the right time. We always wait for it to go back up before we actually buy in.
The flip side is the rough thing going on in the civilization might increase Bitcoin's value. Right now it tracks the NASDAQ. Right now it tracks an NVIDIA. It feels like a risk-on asset.
Oh, speaking of NVIDIA, they just did their stock split this morning, actually, I think.
As it matures, it may start to have
like $10 a share
non-correlative properties, and it may start to look more like gold. But I think, downside is down 50%. Upside, you could probably go 4 or 5x from here over 18 months. Not inconsistent with what has happened over prior halvings. In fact, if anything, that's on the conservative side as it relates to prior halvings. But the demand is there. I think we took $1 billion into the ETFs on a net basis this week thus far. And the demand is there. And just, it's just a shortage of supply, not a lot of coins on the wallets of exchanges. And so, that could really push the price up. And then, there are people that are not believers that are short Bitcoin. And so when you get pressure on your short position, you have a tendency to see gaps. You've had gaps in NVIDIA, you've had gaps in Tesla, because you've had a lot of non-believers in those two stories. And when the fundamentals continue to grow and expand, those people that are short are forced to cover. And they're always covering at higher prices there. So that's where the go parabolic could be.
Sorry, yeah, I think it's 100. Sorry. Is it like $110 or $120? Is that what it is? Sorry, I don't know why I said $10, but it was 10. It was, what is it? A 10 for 1 split? Yeah, it was over $1,000. So it was about $100. My bad.
You get a combination of fundamentally strong demand for Bitcoin, and then people saying, okay, I got to get out of the way. I'm short this thing. I got to go cover. And so now you have buying coverage on shorts blended in with the fundamentals. That could be really big.
Full disclosure, I'm not in stocks at all.
Bitcoin.
Besides, like my
I love your
retirement
nuanced
shit.
answer. Now let me try and pigeonhole
deal with that.
You said that your bear case is actually less than 70K today. 10K not out of the question, but it could have on a bear case. You said your bull case was
at 5x 350.
350. Right. And then your base case. I think Bitcoin, if I had to make
I think it's 100. I think it's 100,000 by the end of this year. I think it's 200,000 by the end of next year.
Appreciate that. Let's talk about.
And by the way, people get mad at me. Oh, that's euphoria. That's not going to happen. Blah, blah, blah. You and I were together in Los Angeles last year. We had this conversation. It wasn't on your podcast. And you were extremely bullish long-term on Bitcoin. And I don't remember you saying this to me, but you also said it's very hard to predict the short-term price movements. But the combination of the halving coming, the likely outcome of a positive ETF story. And I'll tell people why the halving isn't priced in, because I'm a Wall Streeter. I'm 36 years on Wall Street. Wall Street is a selling machine. Wall Street is just mechanizing right now to get this product onboarded at wirehouses, brokerage houses, registered investment advisors. 2 years from now, every person that manages wealth in this country will have Bitcoin as a weapon as it relates to tactical asset allocation. And so you're going to walk into a RIA and they're going to say, Aaron Arnold, here's your net worth. This is how we want to manage your money. And we want to put a 2% allocation into Bitcoin. If you get a 2% allocation into Bitcoin across trillions of dollars of assets that are out in the world, this is going to be a home run. And then again, one last point, state of Wisconsin said, whoa, I got to own Bitcoin. They put $160 million in Bitcoin, drop in a bucket for their scale, but they know that Bitcoin is going to end up in a tactical asset allocation portfolio. They do know this. A result of which they also know that if they're not long Bitcoin, Aaron, they're short Bitcoin. So they're building the position now before it gets added. Okay. And that's something people need to understand. That's going to really start to happen at an accelerated pace over the next 12 months.
So there's a lot of reason to be bullish on Bitcoin, and nobody can predict the future price, but there's a lot of reason to think Bitcoin is bullish, just given enough time, more and more bullish. And another thing that you told me almost a year ago from this month was, while we were on the set of Killer Whales, you said, we were talking about Bitcoin, and you said, actually, my company, Skybridge Capital, is one of the first outside investors in BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, assuming they can turn it into a Bitcoin ETF. And, I want to talk to you now about BlackRock's Ethereum ETF. The industry has progressed so much. Is Skybridge an investor in BlackRock's Ethereum ETF, or how do you think about the Ethereum ETF in general? Because even if you don't think even if you think Bitcoin's a special asset that, this has got to be hugely bullish for Ethereum, or what do you think?
Yeah, well, full disclosure, I own Solana, I own Ethereum, I own Avalanche, I own PYR, Vulcan Forge, the gaming token. Obviously, I own a position in Algorand. But I would say, as it relates to Ethereum, it's a blockbuster, seismic thing for Ethereum. So Ethereum, again, use the same logic. There's a Wall Streeter that's going to call you and say, you need a 2% allocation in Bitcoin, a 1% allocation in Ethereum. It may switch. You need a 2% allocation in Ethereum, a 1% allocation in Bitcoin. And you've now made these things very accessible. And let me tell you, who has the money. You know who has the money. The baby boomers have the money. And what are the baby boomers like? Well, they like ETFs. They like CUSIP numbers. Baby boomers don't want to be bothered with, hello, Coinbase, give me a wallet. I'd like to buy Bitcoin from you and put it in my wallet on Coinbase. They like the fact that they can put Bitcoin now on their brokerage statement using the QSIP of BlackRock or Fidelity, or you pick the brand. And so I think it's usually positive for Ethereum. My partner is an Ethereum maxi. One of my partners. My partner, Brett Messing, is more of a Bitcoin maxi, but my partner that runs research at Skybridge is more of an Ethereum maxi.
The duality.
Yeah, there's duality, right. But that's the thing. You got to be able to hold a couple of different ideas and arguments in your brain at the same time. You don't have to be that binary about things. So I own both. I'm very proud to own both. And I think Ethereum is going to do very well.
And with the ETF approval, Ethereum, a commodity, I assume now, the risk dropped a lot, I would think, based on a year ago with Ethereum, now that the ETFs are approved. Would you say that's true? And do you have an Ethereum prediction like you do Bitcoin?
Yeah, so I'm not as comfortable with that. Okay, my analyst, who is my partner, who is a Ethereum maxi, he would say that this will double over the next 12 months. One of the things that he's
double would be nice. It'd be about 7K, right? A little over 7K.
Concerned about, and maybe you know more about this than me because I've been more
72.
focused on Bitcoin, is that Ethereum has pretty good to very good tokenomics. If you're staking and putting up your Bitcoin to help confirm transactions on the network, you get pretty good tokenomics, but you don't get those tokenomics. You don't get those staking rights in the ETF. That's something the SEC continues to give the FU to our industry. Okay, and that was one of those FUs that they gave to our industry. They could have allowed these guys to have some kind of staking component, and that would have been better for us, but they didn't. But I still think it's going to have a big run.
Just a couple more questions as we're wrapping up this interview. Appreciate your time, Scaramucci. Guys, everybody go follow Scaramucci, linked down below, buy his book. You already mentioned some altcoins that you hold or you're bullish on: Solana, Algorand, Avalanche. I'd love to hear like your top altcoins. Maybe you already mentioned them and there's no more, but anything to say?
Those are my top ones. I bought into a smaller one called Parcel. And so the symbol is PARCL. It's a Solana-based layer 2, but it is a token. And they are a real-world asset token. And they are basically giving you the opportunity to go long or short macro real estate market. So if you own property in New York, but you're worried about the market near term, you could short the New York market using Parcel and using the Parcel tokens. Flip side, if you want to get long it, you could do the same thing. They're in 14 markets now. They've got very robust data in terms of how they're doing the analysis of their index. And it's real world decentralized data. And so we have that as an investment as well. So our altcoin tokens are Avalanche, Solana. I don't know. Would you consider Ethereum an altcoin? I would say no, right? Or I guess so, sort of.
Technically, but it's on a different level.
Right. Okay. We own that. We own Algorand, as I mentioned.
So this Parcel token just came out, from what I can see anyways, in April. Let's see. Yeah, roughly April 16th ish on CoinGecko, anyways. And it's floating around 30 something cents. Is this it? The right one? I assume Solana based. Huh. Interesting. I'll have to look into it.
Mentioned. We own Vulcan Forge because I'm a big believer in these gaming tokens, and I think
But full disclosure, most time people are like talking about them on these things. You're already too late. So
he does a great job. And we now own this thing called Parcel.
Might not be, but
I appreciate that.
That's
the
our
alpha.
exposure, bro.
That's the alpha I was looking for. Thank you. And I guess just thank you so much for coming on today. Please give us closing thoughts, any best advice for the Altcoin Daily audience, or anything you want to plug.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm going to say something somewhat generic, but I think hopefully it'll be resonating. If you're right, don't diversify. And let me
Parcel is cool. The product is not available in the US. Gotcha. Last I checked anyway, says Crypto Mikkel. Okay. Thank you, Crypto Mikkel.
explain that to you. There's diversification and there's diversification. When Warren Buffett got Apple right and it became 50% of his portfolio, he hung in there. You don't trade Apple for 4 scrubs and call it diversification. You know, he said something in the 90s in one of his annual reports. He said, well, in the name of diversification, I'm going to trade Michael Jordan for 4 mediocre basketball players. Is that what I'm doing? So if you're listening to this podcast and you follow Aaron and you're invested in what Aaron owns, you're right. Okay, you're right. So don't get scared, and don't get scared out of being right. If someone comes to you and says, oh, you need to diversify right now and you own Bitcoin, the answer to that question is no, you don't need to diversify. You don't need to, and I think that's a big message. Stay in things.
I appreciate that.
Hold strong and hold long, right? You'll be all right. All right, let's see what we got over here. Recap segment of things. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. Get some music on. All right, Bitcoin, $69,432. Anybody that's just joining, we got Ethereum at 3678. Things are in the light pink today, in green, right? Kind of just floating along. It's a Monday. It's got a case of the Mondays. Maybe things will pop, maybe they won't. Might take a day or so, but we'll see. Again, we got Caspa 16 cents, XRP 50 cents, ADA at 44.5, just about. LTC is just under 80 bucks. Nothing really pops out at us over here on this chart. Let's see, crypto bubbles, see if anything changed. Not really. This OM mantra got into the top 100 to $1.02. We got Wormhole down 8.4, Brett's down 9.8, and XMR is at 5.3. Let's see, flashbang quick. Fear and Greed Index at a 72. Just kind of refresh that. You guys know I don't really care until it's over 75, but we usually see some sort of pullback once it is. My kid has stickers all over her face. Yeah, that's really it though, guys. That's really it. Let's see if you guys have any questions in the chat before we get out of here. We're gonna go raid Miss Randy Hipper. She's live in about 5 minutes, so we're gonna do that. Let's see what you guys got. ETF is selling paper ETH. Yeah, pretty much. Let's see. Bull run will come when least expected. Let's see. Can still buy the token and hold. Yeah, so Crypto Mikkel. Yeah, you. That's that Parcel one you're talking about. Let's see. 36 cents. Like I said, yeah, the max chart again is back to April. So I don't know. We'll have to see what's the markets here. Yeah, it doesn't look like anything in the US. Is KuCoin in the US actually? KuCoin? Is that available in the US, or do you need a or Femex actually? Interesting. I don't know. I don't use either of those exchanges, but I feel like those you don't need a VPN. Maybe I could be wrong. Let me know in the chat if you do or if you don't. Anyways, guys, I'm getting bombarded by kids right now, so I gotta get back to daddy duty. Gotta do a bunch of stuff today. You guys have a great, happy, and safe Monday. I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, peace out. Let's go raid Miss Randy Hipper. Catch you guys soon. Have a good day.
Perfect.
Eat shit, Gary.